What if the greatest danger to your health is not the disease itself, but the comforting lie you have chosen to believe about it? Every day, millions of people scroll past headlines, watch short clips, read comments, and unknowingly absorb fragments of misinformation that slowly shape their understanding of chronic kidney disease. The tragedy is not only that chronic kidney disease exists, but that it hides behind myths that feel reassuring. Many believe kidney disease always announces itself loudly with unbearable pain or obvious warning signs, yet the truth is far more unsettling. CKD often progresses silently, without dramatic symptoms, without alarms, without urgency, until significant damage has already been done. This is why awareness is not just helpful, it is life-saving. The mind seeks comfort, and comfort often disguises itself as denial. People say it only affects the elderly. They say if you are young and active, you are safe. They say drinking more water will wash away the problem. They say if you feel fine, you are fine. But health does not operate on assumptions. The kidneys are quiet workers, filtering blood every minute, balancing fluids, regulating blood pressure, and removing toxins without applause. When misinformation spreads online, it spreads faster than responsibility. Fear grows in one direction, while complacency grows in another. Both are dangerous. The deeper truth is that knowledge is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. When experts like Dr. Mathew R. Weir speak about kidney health, they emphasize that understanding risk factors, early detection, and consistent medical guidance are the foundation of prevention and management. This is not about panic. It is about clarity. It is about replacing myths with measurable facts. It is about understanding that high blood pressure and diabetes are not distant possibilities, but real contributors to kidney damage if left unmanaged. It is about realizing that waiting for symptoms is like waiting for smoke before believing in fire. The challenge is psychological as much as medical. People resist information that disrupts their sense of safety. They prefer simple answers to complex realities. But kidney health demands responsibility. It demands routine checkups, lab tests, honest conversations with healthcare providers, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. There is a silent discipline in prevention. It does not trend online. It does not create dramatic stories, yet it saves lives quietly, steadily, consistently. Imagine the power of early awareness. Imagine discovering a problem in its earliest stage, when lifestyle adjustments, medication, and monitoring can slow progression dramatically. That possibility exists for many, but only if myths are dismantled first. False confidence delays action. True confidence comes from informed decisions. The purpose of education is not to overwhelm you with medical terminology, but to empower you with direction. When you begin to understand how your body functions, you stop being a passive observer and become an active guardian of your own well-being. Kidney health is not a niche topic reserved for specialists. It is a fundamental part of overall vitality. Your energy levels, your heart health, your blood pressure stability, and your long-term resilience are all interconnected. The body is not a collection of isolated parts. It is an integrated system that depends on balance. Chronic kidney disease disrupts that balance quietly. That is why awareness must be louder than the myths. Let this be the moment you question what you have casually accepted. Let this be the moment you replace assumption with investigation. Because sometimes the most dangerous myth is the belief that you have nothing to worry about. And sometimes the most powerful decision you can make is to seek truth before urgency forces you to. But here is where the story becomes even more unsettling, because the real danger is not only what you misunderstand, it is what you postpone. There is a subtle voice inside many people that whispers, "Not now, maybe later. I will check when I feel something is wrong." That voice sounds reasonable, even calm, yet it quietly negotiates with time, and time does not negotiate back. Chronic kidney disease does not rush. It advances patiently, layer by layer, often unnoticed, often underestimated. In the middle of busy routines, work obligations, family responsibilities, and daily distractions, health becomes something assumed rather than examined. The illusion of normalcy becomes the greatest disguise. You wake up, you move, you function, and you conclude that everything must be fine. But kidney damage in its early stages rarely interrupts your schedule. It does not demand attention with dramatic pain. It waits in silence, and that silence creates a dangerous suspense. What if the numbers in a simple blood or urine test are already shifting? What if your blood pressure, slightly elevated for years, has been placing quiet strain on delicate filtration units inside your kidneys? What if small, consistent habits have been shaping a future you have not yet imagined? This is not meant to create fear, but awareness carries weight. Suspense is born from uncertainty, and uncertainty is reduced by action. Many people rely on fragments of online advice, quick remedies, and oversimplified solutions that promise control without commitment. Drink this, avoid that, follow a trend, and everything will balance itself. But the body is not managed by trends. It is governed by biology, evidence, and long-term patterns. Experts in nephrology, including Dr. Mathew R. Weir, consistently stress that early screening and individualized medical guidance are essential because each person's risk profile is different. There is no universal shortcut. High blood pressure, diabetes, family history, cardiovascular conditions, and lifestyle factors intersect in complex ways. Ignoring that complexity does not simplify it. It magnifies the consequences over time. The suspense deepens when you realize that many individuals discover kidney disease only after significant progression, when options become more limited and management requires more intensive intervention. At that stage, regret often replaces complacency. People look back and say they wish they had known, wish they had tested earlier, wish they had taken small warnings seriously. Yet regret cannot reverse damage already done. Prevention, however, can slow and sometimes dramatically alter the trajectory of disease. This is where responsibility transforms into empowerment. You are not powerless. You are not helpless. You are not destined by assumption. Knowledge combined with action becomes protection. A simple checkup becomes a strategic decision. A conversation with a healthcare provider becomes an investment in longevity. Adjusting diet, managing blood pressure, monitoring blood sugar, staying physically active, and following medical advice may sound ordinary, but ordinary disciplines practiced consistently create extraordinary outcomes. The suspense in this journey is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to awaken you before urgency forces your hand. Consider how often people insure their homes, their vehicles, their devices, yet hesitate to monitor their own internal systems. The kidneys, small but vital, sustain life every second. When they are compromised, the ripple effects extend to the heart, bones, nerves, and overall vitality. The body begins to struggle in interconnected ways. That is why myths are not harmless misunderstandings. They are delays disguised as reassurance. The turning point arrives when you decide that uncertainty will no longer control you. Instead of fearing what a test might reveal, you recognize that clarity, even if uncomfortable, is far better than silent progression. Suspense dissolves the moment action begins. The unknown becomes known, and the known becomes manageable. This is the psychological shift that separates passive hope from proactive care. Hope without action is fragile. Hope supported by evidence and discipline becomes resilient. The real question is not whether kidney disease exists. It is whether you will confront possibility with courage or continue negotiating with silence. Because in the quiet space between assumption and diagnosis lies a decision that can shape years of your life, and that decision belongs entirely to you. The final truth is both simple and powerful. The moment you choose awareness over avoidance, you reclaim authority over your future. Chronic kidney disease does not define a person, but ignorance can quietly limit possibilities. When you begin to understand how deeply your daily decisions influence your internal health, you realize that prevention is not a dramatic act. It is a disciplined lifestyle built on small, consistent commitments. The body responds to patterns. It responds to what you repeatedly eat, how consistently you move, how carefully you manage stress, how responsibly you monitor blood pressure and blood sugar, and how willingly you seek medical guidance when something feels uncertain. These patterns either strengthen resilience or accelerate decline. There is profound empowerment in recognizing that you are not merely reacting to disease, you are shaping conditions that influence its progression. Education transforms fear into focus. Instead of being overwhelmed by worst-case scenarios, you begin to see pathways of control. Regular screenings become acts of courage. Following prescribed treatment becomes an investment in longevity. Asking informed questions becomes a sign of strength rather than weakness. Experts like Dr. Mathew R. Weir have long emphasized that informed patients often experience better outcomes because they participate actively in their care. Participation changes everything. It shifts you from passive recipient to engaged partner in your health journey. The narrative of kidney disease does not have to be one of inevitability. It can be one of vigilance, adaptation, and resilience. Even if someone has already been diagnosed with CKD, the story does not end there. Stages of disease progression vary, and proper management can significantly slow advancement. Diet modifications tailored to individual needs, careful medication adherence, blood pressure control, blood sugar stabilization, and consistent monitoring create measurable impact. These are not abstract recommendations. They are practical strategies rooted in scientific understanding. The philosophical lesson beneath the medical facts is this: responsibility is freedom. When you accept responsibility for your health decisions, you free yourself from the chains of uncertainty. You stop blaming genetics alone. You stop relying on viral advice. You stop postponing conversations that matter. Instead, you build a framework of informed living. Kidney health becomes integrated into your broader commitment to overall well-being. You begin to notice how hydration, nutrition, exercise, and stress management influence not only laboratory values, but also energy levels and mental clarity. The body rewards consistency. It may not reward it instantly, but over time the benefits accumulate quietly, just as damage once did. This is the reversal of suspense. Instead of waiting anxiously for negative outcomes, you begin anticipating positive progress. Each appointment becomes data. Each test becomes information. Each adjustment becomes refinement. The fear that once felt paralyzing transforms into disciplined motivation. You recognize that myths lose power when confronted by truth, and truth gains power when supported by action. Chronic kidney disease is serious, but seriousness does not equal hopelessness. The human capacity for adaptation is extraordinary when guided by evidence and determination. Let this be a turning point where awareness replaces assumption and intention replaces delay. Let this be the decision to live informed rather than misled. Protecting your kidneys is not an isolated medical task. It is part of protecting your independence, your energy, your relationships, and your future contributions to the world. When you understand that, motivation stops being external and becomes deeply personal. It becomes a commitment you renew daily through practical choices. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.